What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. So we got some news yesterday on the passing of Hulk Hogan, and I know this is kind of a tough one to deal with for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and I want to talk about it since I grew up in the 80s. To me, Hulk Hogan was like bigger than life when I was growing up. I ate my vitamins. I said my prayers. Hulk Hogan was like a rock star. You know, he was like literally. I don't think people understand how huge he was for the 80s and how wrestling today just wouldn't be what it is without him. And I know at points in time, during his career, as his career ended, there's some racist stuff that came out, and I'm never going to make an excuse for that. Like, it's awful. I know that. We all know that. I don't know him, right? I never met him. I didn't hear it, but I would absolutely trust anything that, someone like Booker T had to say. And I'm not going to pretend I followed all of it too much, but the allegations are there. We've seen it, we've heard it. And it kind of sucks that that's the way it ended up, because, one of his last moments in wrestling is him getting booed off the stage at WrestleMania, And it's wild that it had to be that way. And we understand that this is something that happens in wrestling. You think about it with Chris Benoit, one of the greatest to ever do it, possibly could have been, an all-timer, like, we don't know where his career was headed, but, he was respected among his peers, but now he's just a murderer that killed himself, I was driving down to New York City, actually, to see the Fantastic Four, and as I'm driving, I see a text pop up on my phone, which I was using as a GPS, from my brother, and it just said Hulk Hogan died. And I couldn't actually look at it or read it because I was on the highway, but I was like, man, that's crazy. And it's not that crazy. He's 71, and you can only imagine, how much steroids he did. It's just crazy that it had to go down that way, and we're going to have the same conversation, when Vince McMahon goes, right? Because, like, these are two people that you can argue wrestling is dead without, all right? Like, Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon in the 80s, if they don't happen, there is a good chance that wrestling is just a carnival show, Like, there is a very good chance that that's just where we are, and you can't dispute, like, their place in wrestling, like, as their characters. So I'm talking about Hulk Hogan, the character. I'm not talking about Terry Bollea, the person. I never actually personally saw him in person. I never went to a WCW show. And by the time I started going to wrestling shows, he was in WCW. He never happened to be at any of the ones I've been to, so there's that. I don't know. It just felt like it self-inflicted, but it just felt like his last few years were sad. It didn't need to be that way, because inarguably, this is a Mount Rushmore head, you know what I mean? Like, this is somebody that you have to include on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling history, right? Not because he was like the greatest wrestler of all time. I mean, before John Cena, he might have originated the 5 moves of doom, but, like, think of all the historic moments in both WWE and WCW. You think about the rivalry with the Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior, and now all 3 of them are gone, and we're just getting to this point where a lot of these guys are gone now, and it's crazy, because, like, wrestling in the 80s when I grew up was so different. Like, I never watched pay-per-views. I would go to the video store, not even a Blockbuster, just a video store, and they would have a wall of WWE VHS cassettes, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and we would rent the movie, we would rent the videos, and we would go home and we would watch it. And it would be much later, you know. There were ways to do it, but like, I mean, my dad was a Marine. He didn't understand any of that stuff. Not that Marines are dumb, but I don't know. My dad was a big jarhead, so you get it. I can say that because, you know, son of a gunny. I don't know, man. This one hits different, and I'm gonna feel the same conflict with Vince McMahon. And I just look at CM Punk's interview that he did not that long back with Ariel Helwani. I hope I said that right. Where he's talking about Vince McMahon. Like, this is hard because, like, this is somebody that meant a lot to a lot of people that had different experiences with him. Father-like experiences. And, of course, you have his actual, you know, family. Like, you think of Hulk, and I know he got divorced from Linda, but they had the whole show, and, you know, he was a father. You know, I'm pretty sure he might be a grandfather. You know, you look at Eric Bischoff. He was a best friend. And there were people that the racist things that he might have said or done didn't affect, you know, from every walk of life. And they might have good memories. But there are going to be a lot of people that are like, fuck Hogan forever. And Iron Sheik will lead the way. You know what I mean? So now he's up there with the Iron Sheik. One last fuck the Hogan for the Iron Sheik for all eternity. It's complicated, and I was never a big Hulk Hogan fan necessarily. You know, we were Ultimate Warrior guys, me and my brother. So it's but it was Hulk Hogan. Like, I saw he started getting in really cheesy bad movies in the 80s. There was one where he was like, I don't know, I want to say it was like Commando. I'm probably remembering it wrong because I haven't like thought of the movie in so long. No, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. But like, he was in a lot of really bad movies. What am I thinking of? Oh, he was in that Three Ninjas, No Holds Barred. I mean, who can forget that? What's the one that I was thinking of? There's one specifically that I'm trying to remember. Suburban Commando, that's what it was. So yeah, I remember watching that one. And No Holds Barred, of course. So yeah, I want to say rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Fuck you, Terry Bollea. You know what I mean? And I know there's some people that won't be able to separate the two, and I get that, but I don't know, man. It's tough. And while I was in New York City, I wish I had stopped by Madison Square Garden. We weren't that far away, but apparently they were running, you know, stuff on their video board. You know, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Because, you know, Madison Square Garden is literally the mecca of WWE, you know? That is where Vince came up. That was his home arena, basically. Vince's father, actually, I should say. And that is where so many legendary WWF events happened. And, you know, I'm interested to hear from people their perspective on Hulk Hogan, especially if you are affected by some of the racist things he said. You know, like, obviously I'm white. It is what it is. I earned some reward points apparently though. So I could sit here and posture all I want. It doesn't hit me or affect me the same way it would you. So I'm just, I don't know. It's tough. Hopefully he loses right here. I was definitely a Savage guy. Randy Savage actually has a rap song about Hulk Hogan, like a diss track. Be a man, Hogan! I actually have that CD. Oh my god, I wish this match would just end. But yeah. Yeah, it's conflicting. It's tough. And I would very, very much be interested in hearing what people have to say. And I've seen some people react and say, you know what? I don't know. I didn't want to get into what other people said. I did see a lot of people reacting very harshly, and you know, hey, you do the crime, you do the time. I didn't love that WWE kind of got in business with him at the end, knowing, because they knew the allegations, and this was after, you know, the purchase. So it wasn't a Vince thing, you know. Well, I guess we got one big last win for the Hulkster. Anyway, it's tough, man. It's tough, and it is a sad day for wrestling, one way or another, because one of the icons of wrestling is gone, and we also have to talk about his past. So I wasn't able to make this video yesterday because I was away from my computer, but I do hope he's in a better place, you know, and I hope that in death he learned from his mistakes and died a better person because of it.